John Marston. It's 1857, and I'm telling you about my story back in the Old West. Here goes nothing.
Howdy, partner.
Howdy there, partner.
Howdy.
Oh, can I get you some whiskey, beer?
I'll have your finest Dr. Pepper.
What's your name, stranger?
Name's John. John Marston.
That's nice.
Wow, this sure does bring back some memories of the olden days.
Yeah, I'm sure does.
I used to drink Dr. Pepper back in the days with my friends.
That seems like you there, son.
You want to tell you a story what happened?
Okay, then.
Well, it all started in 1849.
That's when the gold rush started. Immediately, people were packing up their stuffs and headed west. Husbands left their wives and families to hope to strike gold. I got on that ferry and left immediately. Heading west, I was going to find me some gold out in California. But there were a lot of people heading out west, I tell you. And there are Native Americans out in that land. Some government officials were hoping I could take care of them. Also, a lot of Chinese immigrants were moving in at the time. So I got on one of the few trains out west during the gold rush of 1945. We were going to strike gold and maybe some other metals out there. But this train led on to more trains eventually, and the mining industry influenced a whole new bustling industry out there in the west. It will lead to a whole new life out in California way.
I, for one, am grateful, Mrs. Bush, that they are finally bringing civilization to this savage land.
I could not agree with you more, my dear. My daddy settled this land, and I know he'll be looking down on us, pleased at how we help the natives.
Yes, they've lost their land, but they've gained access to heaven. Well, here we are, Mrs. Bush. Armadillo.
And so my journey began out there in California. Yep, ever since late December, multiple reports of gold have been seen. But there were 6 major gold mines out there, so we had to explore and find our way out there. There were many unsettled places, but what do? We had to stop tearing up them big forests up out there in California. Yep, by the end of 1499, there were 40,000 people mining, and almost 100,000 were non-native from California. That's 95% more than the year before. Over $100 million was pulled out of the California gold mines. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. But they didn't know how to use the gold, so all that money took time, lots of it, for that matter, to turn it into money. So when all these 49ers, quote unquote, got the gold, what was they to do with it? That was the hard part. But the true money makers were the ones selling the equipment. They were schemers considered by the miners. They also sold them things like Levi Jeans, a very successful brand out there in California way.
Yeah. Well, I made that for mining and selling all of you your equipment.
Eventually, later in the years, there were way too many miners, and the gold was thinning out. Eventually, the miners weren't getting enough gold individually to hit the jackpot. Only the 49ers, quote unquote, got that kind of money.
Woo! Hit me up with another one.
Rowdy one, aren't you?
Oh yeah. I used to get rowdy back in the day.
That's nice there.
I'll let you know a little secret.
Okay there, John, tell me.
Now, when I was probably about my mid-20s, the government hired me to kill some Indians.
Well, ain't that something? It was something. And in fact, assimilation began for Native Americans, and illness struck them out west too. That and government officials were hiring those to get rid of some Native Americans who were rebellious. Okay, this was kind of highly over-exaggerated. However, this was what they used to do in the older days. But then in the Old West, they created the Dawes Act of 1887. This pretty much Americanized Native Americans. It wasn't technically reserves, but they moved them to another spot and gave them education, schools, white people clothes, if you may say. It ended violence in the West. But I knew what they were doing. They was moving them so we could take the land from right under their feet. Chinese immigrants started coming to America, you know, because the crop and agriculture in China was poor. They came to the United States of America to mine. As you can see here, they worked hard with the whites, but they were also discriminated. Almost 78% of the Chinese immigrants were mining in California, which was 6 to 3,000 Chinese in California. In San Francisco, they had in 1978 discrimination acts in San Francisco. Did you know that? And the Yick Wo versus Hopkins case went to the federal court and said it was illegal for these orientation camps in California, although they still kept the discriminational acts.
You know, I used to live in a boomtown.
Did you now?
Yeah, it really brings me back. Now let me tell you.
Oh, God. That's right. Due to the bustling mining industry out west, they had to create things called boomtowns. Boomtowns popped up real fast, but they turned to ghost towns real quickly. They were just left behind for anyone else to have to their own. But boomtowns were dangerous places. There usually old men out there, and there was cheap ways of entertainment, like old plays and lots of strippers. Lots and lots of strippers. Plus gambling on card games. And you gotta be sure you didn't cheat, or else people will do pretty bad things to you.
What are you gonna do about it?
Hey, you're my boy!
That's right, I killed a man.
That's interesting about them Indians.
Yeah, all this talking Indians. It's got me thinking about how the mining industry affected what we now call Western civilization.
Wow, that sounds interesting and all, but well, honestly, why don't you go ahead and tell me about that?
Now, it all started.
Well, that pretty much sums up what mining was like out there in the West. There was the California Gold Rush of 1849, which led to assimilation of Native Americans. Chinese immigrants came and also led to building railroads out west, made the entire Manifest Destiny possible. If you had to tell me, mining has started the whole idea of Manifest Destiny. As well, we can also agree that after the assimilation of Native Americans, many diseases were passed on to them, and the Chinese were still discriminated against, but eventually were given equal equality. Boomtowns eventually became ghost towns, and the West popped up in San Francisco and other many future large cities like City of Los Angeles, San Diego, Santa Fe. Well, you have a good time out there, folks. And remember, mining created the modern West.
That's pretty much everything about the West.
Oh, I'm not all wrong.
So, what's the tab?
What's tab?
buddy?